sure that we have constant team of people workers with it, like the other ones there. So Chilli is going to break it.
Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In case you're new, please subscribe, hit the like button and press the notification bell so that every time I post a video you're here to vibe with us. So as you can see, I'm in the red and green farm. So this is a chili cambulary. Some people call it, this is red pepper, right?
Yeah, red pepper.
And my guest, I'm his guest today, Mr. Arthur again, and we are in his farm. So Mr. Arthur, going to tell us more about this before we start. I think you're going to introduce yourself again.
Yes.
And tell people your channel and ask them to come and subscribe.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm called Arthur Nkubito. I'm a farmer in Wea district. This is called Ladiema village.
What's the meaning of the name?
I'm not so sure. I think it goes by the person who was here, the earliest person, or one of those great grandfathers that was owning this whole area in terms of square miles and so forth. So we are in a chili garden, and particularly this is chili that is harvested green. It can also be harvested red, but for us here we've made a deliberate effort, decision to harvest them when they are green, because even the market likes it also when it is green. Besides, when you harvest it when it is green, it keeps on, flowering and giving you more. And particularly this is the Demon F1 variety, and
so as a farmer, you earn more if you sell this compared to the red one.
The red one also has good money, but the challenge, it takes longer for it to turn red. And also, as it turns longer to turn red, it flowers less in the garden. And therefore you end up what? Making some, losses, especially. But now when it is green, I am sure to harvest this garden every 2 weeks. And giving you an example, if you have 2 acres of chili, you are sure to harvest 500 kilograms every 2 weeks and sell to the market. But the way this
video is brought to you in partnership with Lemfi, the app that makes sending money to Uganda and other African countries a breeze. As many of you may already know, Lemfi allows Africans in Canada and the UK to send money to 10 African countries, including Uganda. For my people in the UK and Canada, I have wonderful news for you. Lemfi now allows you to send money back home with 0 transaction fees. Yes, I said 0 transaction fees. They also have the best rates in the market, so you will always get the complete value for your money. It is fast, easy, and completely free when it comes to sending money home. Download and use my code NYAKO to get 10 euros, 10 Canadian dollars, and 10 US dollars on your first transaction, which is above $100 or what
works. First of all, it's important for you to source for the market before you plant. Now, the way we do it, you have to make effort to reach these exporting companies, and once you visit them, you'll tell them you're interested in growing chili, and
so
they'll
you do that before starting to farm. You have to first look for the market.
Yes, you have to look for the market.
Why?
Because you want to be sure that what you're growing, they're going to take. You might be there and get excited and grow a certain variety because your neighbor's grown it, but it may not be the favorable variety for the export market. When it is ready, you try to look for the buyers and they tell you, no, we don't need this, we need the other one.
And they'll go bad.
Yes, they'll go bad. Nobody will buy it because, as you may know, the culture for eating, chili in Uganda is very low.
Yeah.
Most people don't. I like it so much. I don't know whether you like chili.
No, I don't.
So you see, so you can imagine if you have 2 acres and all of a sudden you're trying to look for the market, it's going to be a big hassle. But when you start by looking for the market, they'll tell you the variety they prefer because of the demand out there. They'll also request you to know from you how many acres are you willing to plant. Okay? And then it will determine the tonnage that you're able to provide every after 2 weeks. So if you have less capacity, they'll keep on asking other members who can also plant. So they start aggregate. They become the aggregators of this particular chili.
So this chili is harvested every after 2 weeks?
Yes, once. First of all, it takes 1 month in the nursery bed, and then we transplant it. Once you transplant it, it takes between 1.5 months to 2 months, and then you start picking. When you start, it's normally still few, but after 2 to 4 weeks, then as it continues branching, remember it keeps on flowering. As you can see, you'll pick chili, but there are flowers coming in. You see, and those flowers in 2 weeks, they are giving you chili that is of this size. So you can imagine, and that is what is required by the market. You need to pick it when it's still tender and nice, but it is hot in its own way, and people like it so much. So then you have to ensure that you handle it properly between the farm and where you're taking it.
So how do you transport it?
Currently here we have a challenge of transport. I don't have means of transport to transport this particular chili as a farmer. So I've tried to contact some bus companies that ply the Gulu Kampala highway. And so for us we pick, and then we try to look for a pickup. We hire a pickup from one of the towns, and then we transport it to Gulu around the 60 kilometers, and then we put it in the bus. We normally target these buses that leave around midnight, and then they arrive in Kampala, the capital city in Uganda, and then at around 5:30. And then these people, the ones you've sent the chili to, they come and pick it at around that time or around 7 and transport it to their warehouse.
So this one is also about transporting them. How do you pack them? Because these are like they are bulky.
Yes.
So how do you transport them to make sure that they don't get damaged by the time they reach where?
Again, these are still humble beginnings. We are normally supposed to be having packaging boxes which can be bought in Kampala and so forth. But for us now here, we just use the sacks. But we are sure that we are going to make some damages along the way. Because first of all, in picking it here, you have to make sure that when you pick it, it has to have its stock when you're picking it from the what? From the garden. If you, for instance, somebody has to know how to hold it and then pick it. If you pick it and this one is off, this one is already rejected. Even if it's good, how they'll throw it. Or if it is just broken at the tip like this, they will not take it. Some you'll see when they have holes, because of some pests, they will not take that. So say we've harvested, like I tell you that in 2 acres, you're going to be able to harvest 500 kilograms every 2 weeks. You'll be able to transport those 500 kilograms, but be sure that you're not going to earn from the 500 kilograms. Once it reaches there, you just send them an invoice of 500 kilograms, but they'll pour it on the sorting table and they start sorting. Eventually, you'll find yourself losing like 100 kilograms, okay? And then they'll package the other one, and therefore, they'll pay you for the 400 kilograms. And that's what you bear with. But if you can, out there and you can be able to have your own means of transport, meaning from the garden, you're putting it straight to your vehicle, straight to the company that is buying it. Unless you lose quite a few, maybe 20 or 30 kilograms. The rest, you'll be able to earn from it. So as I told you here, these are humble beginnings. We are still grappling with transport, and so that's how we do it.
Yeah, so we want to know how would someone like me, I have no knowledge about chili, but I would want to venture into this. So how would I start?
Okay, once you show, it's very important as a prospective farmer, try to do some visits. Do some research on the net. You'll be able to see a number of varieties of chili. We have the hot pepper, but we also have the chilies. Among the chilies, we have the Demon F1, we have the Bullet chili, we have the Cayenne, and so forth. There are quite many.
And which one is it?
This is Demon F1.
Demon F1.
Demon F1. And so once you do that, it would be good also to try and find out within your locality or neighboring districts or sub-counties, those people who are doing farming in chili, you visit them. Now, for you to start well, as I told you, start by looking out for the market. Because once you finish transplanting, within 2 months, you'll start getting overwhelmed with the volumes of chili.
2 months?
2 months after transplanting, you are going to start harvesting.
So how long do they stay in the nursery bed?
It's just 1 month.
1 month.
Yes, and then when you start harvesting, be sure to harvest for a minimum of 6 months. Each month harvesting twice, and the volume. Actually, when I tell you 500, that's even on a lower bit, because as you see, it keeps on expanding, and the more it expands and branching, it keeps on giving you what? More chilies. So once you talk to these exporting companies, they'll tell you the variety. And then some of these exporting companies have the seeds they can sell you, or they refer you to some prominent, credible seed suppliers, then you buy and set to your nursery bed. and then you're able to plant it. Now, in the process, there's another important step. They'll link you, they'll be able to come and visit you. The agronomy, each exporting company has an agronomist. He'll come and see how you're doing your farming, the practices, whether you have some traps, whether you're spraying adequately, whether you have spaced very well. They'll first of all give you that information before you start. So you already know that you're going to do 3 feet by 3 feet when you're spacing from one line to the other, and also from one seedling to the other. So when you finish, they come back for the second round when it starts fruiting and the chilies are there. They now return when they have a government inspector. Now this one is the one who will give you now the farmer's code number. Now you're able to be identified by the code number. Yes. Remember, I told you when you're looking for the market, don't zero down on one farmer, on one exporting company, because they keep on asking you depending on the demand. You've planted your 2 acres and you're expecting a minimum of 500 kilograms, and he'll tell you 200 kilograms. Where are you going to put the other 300? So it's good for you to zero down to at least 2 exporting companies. And even if there is scarcity, ensure to supply both of them. Even if the other one says wants 500, you tell him no, you can able to raise 250, and then you also give 250. Because in times of plenty, they will again love you because you've been, open and transparent and, consistent with them during hard times, you see. So this government inspector, they will come and give you the farmer code. They'll come and see. Actually, there is also what they call the lead farmer in each region. For us, our lead farmer comes all the way from Lira. And whenever you're harvesting, he has to be there.
Do you facilitate him?
Yes, because currently they're not facilitated by anybody. So it is me to facilitate him.
As a farmer?
Yes, because they also give me, I have a book that I have to document. First of all, they request that you inspect your garden 3 times every week. And there is where to note whatever you're finding. What have you found in a particular trap, if it's a stick trap? What have you found in a fruit fly trap? And what are some of the live pests that you're seeing? Any signs of diseases, you document, and then you record there. Whenever you harvest your chili and you're sending it, it is supposed to be accompanied by those forms. This is where the lead farmer signs each time he comes. This is where the agronomist, or who's supposed to visit at least once a month, signs. And this is where you note where the pests and diseases you found. So all that is supposed to be, removed and sent you address it to the government inspector. Now, as you send your chili to the exporting company, the inspector is also having your paperwork. He's at liberty also to send this paperwork parallel to the person buying in Europe, because they want to see how authentic this product is. Remember, if they go and test this chili and they find that maybe as you sprayed, it was supposed to last, maybe if you're spraying a fungicide, which has to take 12 days before you harvest. If you harvest after 10 days, should they put this under an analysis, they'll be able to see that there are some chemical residues. And if they find, they'll just neglect the whole batch. But now that's where the farmer's code comes in. When they give you that number as a farmer, they'll be able to trace that this chili came from Arthur, who's based in Nwea, in Ladiema, on Lad Mixed Farm. And they're able to come and seclude you or tell you how to do it better next time. If you come back the second time, then they can easily suspend you, because you're not going to tarnish the name of the country because of one farmer. So there is always an effort. That's why this lead farmer makes it a point to come to your farm and inspect whatever you're harvesting. By the time he endorses his name on those documents, he's sure, because he has been on the farm. So it's a bit costly, but I think it's worth it, because in the end you want to be able to have the confidence of the exporting companies, but also the money. As I told you, the prices keep on fluctuating. Most of these exporting companies, they don't want to sign a contract with you, because from experience, when I approached them, they say whenever they have done that for particular farmers, and when there is always scarcity of chili, these farmers tend to sell. Because remember, when you sign a contract, you get a flat rate, say 2,500 per kilogram. And yet you reach a point when a kilogram is going for 4,000 shillings. And you find an exporter who is going to drive all the way from Kampala, even sometimes having his own people to harvest, pick for you, and pay you the 4,000. So you are likely to be attracted, and you say, let me give this one half, 250 of the 500 and take to the company. And yet that means you're not honest. Yeah. So they say, no, we won't have the prevailing market price. Be sure that we shall buy your chili, but according to the prevailing market price. And they'll buy it. And so they come and they look at your chili and you're able to give it to them. So that way you can be able to earn. But just to inform you, it's a good money maker. Imagine, even if we say, let's say, because, for instance, I'm lucky that the exporting companies that I have, they have agreed that they will not sell me below 2,000, even if the price falls to 1,000. Why? Because they also don't want to discourage the farmer, because if you get discouraged, next year you're not going to plant and they'll have nothing to export. And especially if you're reputable and you've been doing things right. So they would rather keep it at a certain minimum to encourage you as a farmer. So imagine 400 kilograms and you're selling each kilogram at, at 2,000 shillings. I think that gives us around 800,000, and that is every 2 weeks. And I'm saying 800 after sorting, because remember you're supposed to be getting around 500 minimum. But the one we assume the 100 kilograms is going to go under damages. If you have your vehicle and you can transport it carefully, then you'll get around 450 and above. And that is very good income for a farmer to be able to, try and join it.
So I'm also seeing these things. I would want you to tell us more about, I've seen different things. There's this, I'm going to show you others, and they have different colors. So what are these?
Okay, now this is called the pheromone trap, and these ones particularly trap the fruit flies. If you notice inside here, we have quite a number of fruit flies that come. Normally, they are normally females. So this pheromone trap has the scent of the male fruit fly. So the females come hoping to maybe mate and so forth, and they sniff there and end up dying and they fall there. So by doing that, you're reducing on the prevalence of fruit flies that actually have a tendency of laying eggs within the flowers of some of these chilies. By the way, this also applies to orchards, say mango farm and so forth. So by doing that, you kill the fruit fly before they can harm your what? Your chili. So you're sure to harvest your chili when it is safe, even if it reaches the river. Otherwise, you'll find that if you don't have this, by the time the chili turns to red, if you cut it properly, you either find maggots or some foreign matter that is still developing. It's because the fruit flies try to lay eggs within the flowers. And remember, these grow very fast. So this is one type. The other one, we have others that are green in color, yellow and then blue. But those are stickers. And now for these particular stickers, they also trap a particular type of insects. And these are all recommended by the government inspectors, but also the exporting companies. Actually, even when you get some of these good exporting companies, remember now, like here, these are 6 acres. I injected in around 500,000 buying only these traps and so forth. But the good thing with these exporting companies, they also have these in stock because they know you as a farmer, maybe you've not yet started earning and you're having challenges accessing
So
this.
they give you this for free?
No, they give it to you and then they can deduct slowly as you take. But just one harvest, or after the second harvest, you'll have recovered your money. That's why I tell you that chili farming is actually a money maker. You are not going to regret it. And so you're able to get at least a minimum of around 2 million shillings every month if you're harvesting twice. And you have 2 acres, you see, and then you can multiply that by 6 months. If you look after your garden and you can be able to water it even up to 1 year, you can do that. Now, one thing I'd want to alert the farmers about, if you want to make most out of chili, just like any other crop, if you can be able to plant during the off-season. Now,
what's the off-season?
Off-season is when you can plant during periods of scarcity. In Uganda, if you can plant, for instance, set your nursery around August, then in September you transplant. September, October, by November you start harvesting the few that is already getting ready. Then December, January, February, March, when the northern Uganda side is having drought, for you are irrigating and you're supporting and supplying the market. by that time the whole country doesn't have chili because it's all dry season throughout the country. And therefore, you target now that niche market. You see, everybody will be, rubbing their shoulders to access you. But also, in December, January, February, March, and April, that is when it is also winter in Europe. And that's where this chili is taken. Because it's winter, it's very cold. And one of the things why people eat this chili so much, when you eat, you sweat. You see, you start coughing, you sneeze, and so it makes you warm. And that's why they like it out there. So you can imagine, you can be able to sell even a kilogram at 4,000 shillings. But if it's hot pepper, you can even sell it at 8,000 per kilogram. For hot pepper is much more lucrative, but more challenging in terms of managing the pests and diseases and chances that it will not be rejected. So 80% of farmers in Uganda go for chili farming. It's only 20 that really risk and go into hot pepper. You can do it better if you have a greenhouse.
So someone out there might be wondering, how do you get labor, like human labor? People come and pick. You have like dormitory where they sleep. Or do you use the community?
Yes, because that would be very, very, very expensive if I'm to put up accommodation. I just have basic number of people that work on the farm. Remember, we have the pineapples, we have the chili, plus the goats. So they are distributed to manage that. But for harvesting, even when we are planting, transplanting, I reach out to the community. As long as you give them an attractive, amount of money per acre, like you can say you are going to give them 100,000 per acre.
You don't use machines
to transplant. No, it's human hands. So they come and put a string, and by the way, they may not even use the string when they're so used. They know how they dig and make sure that it is 3 feet from one hole to the other, from one line to the other. And and they plant. In 2 days, they are finishing an acre. Because remember, you want it to also be transplanted very fast if you have seedlings for quite a big acreage of land. And so when it is picking, when we are going to pick, we inform them like the previous day in the evening that tomorrow we shall be harvesting. And we move around, and so they are able to come. Sometimes you're lucky they come many, say 40, 50 people, and you can pick your 1,000 kilograms in a day. But sometimes, if there are not many, then you find yourself failing to meet the target, yet you have the volumes in the field. Because also, remember, in northern Uganda, this chili farming is still yet a new crop. Some people are doing it. Other people are normally in Lira sub-region. They do the bird's eye, the African bird's eye. Those are our traditional small ones, the bitter ones. But these are the ones which you have to harvest every after 2 weeks. It is something that's still getting used. When we started, people find it hard to pick 4 basins. But now you find somebody picking up to 7 basins, a single person, from morning up to around 4 in the evening. And each basin, we actually pay 2,000 shillings. So somebody comes and does 5 basins, is assured of his or her 10,000 shillings. What is important, you try to make sure that this money is available. When they pick, pay them cash and they go. There, you build that confidence and trust. Whenever you call on them, they are able to turn up when they want that quick back. So that's what we do. But it's also a way of giving back to the community.
That's what I was asking.
That's
what I was going to ask you.
Yes.
Because this is a very big project.
So guys, that was it for today, and I'll be dropping in another part for the pineapples. Please endeavor to reach out on his channel and watch more about all this, the goats, the chili, and the pineapple. See you guys in the next video. Bye.